Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to finish off the individual reviews of Annie. So this is the 2014 version. This is the updated version. This is interesting. This was like panned like crazy. It's not that bad. It has issues. But it's not that bad. It does not deserve the hate. It really, really doesn't. So it is not highly rated. Excuse me. It's a 5.3. So this is an updated version of the original story. The basic story of Annie is, of course, you have Annie, who's an orphan. She's brought on by a billionaire by the name of, normally it's Warbucks, but I feeling they changed the name of the app. Yes, in this it's Stacks. They changed they changed quite a few character names in this. Basically, he's a billionaire, and as a publicity stunt, he falls in love with her, wants to adopt her. She wants to find her parents. She ends up being kidnapped. They find out her parents are dead, and billionaire adopts her. And that's the basis of the story. Now, I did do the two other Disney versions. This is the more original. This is also based on a Broadway play. This is an updated version. So this is kind of, the story's a bit different. So in this one, you get more, one thing, you see more of Annie. She's now not an orphanage. She's a foster child. Harrington is basically a foster mother. There's far less, obviously there's not a huge group of orphans. There's a smaller group. Here, she's in a regular school. Warbucks is updated to Will Stacks, who's an internet mogul who's running for governor of New York. And you have a few extra characters. You still have Cameron Diaz is playing Hanning. I think they changed the first name. She's obviously now the foster mother. You have Annie, who's African American in this version. You have Rose Byrne, who plays Grace. Jamie Foxx is playing Will Stacks, who is the Oliver Warbucks character. You have Bobby Cannavale, who's playing Guy, who's one of the people who's helping get him elected. You have a few other characters that are added in as supporting, a guy character by the name of Lou, who's he's a bodega owner where Annie works, who actually falls in love with Hanning because she realizes she's not as nasty as she thought. There's the driver by the name of Nash, who's part of this. You have a social services inspector who's been brought in. There is no president being brought in as opposed to this. Michael J. Fox makes a cameo in this, playing himself. Because of course you're going up against another governor candidate, so who I don't think is listed here. So in this one, Annie goes to school. She's a foster kid. They do change some of the songs here. There's not as many musical numbers in this one. She adopts a dog when she's with Stacks. He's running for governor. He's a lot more of a dick. You see a lot more of his character and how much of a dick he is. And how Guy is the one, basically he kind of accidentally rescues her. And it's caught on film. So it's like, okay, we're going to bring her as a publicity stunt into your big high-rise mansion. He doesn't actually have a huge staff like he does in the other ones. Again, there's probably a little bit more low budget here. Again, they're also trying to update it. You see their relationship. There's not as many people going on here. Again, this is the 21st century, so it's not based in the 1930s, which is what the previous two films were. And so you see, apparently Annie can't read despite being 11 years old, because she's supposed to read something. So read a speech during a publicity event. She runs off because she can't actually read. And then as similar, so a little bit of a twist, because in the previous versions, It's Harrington's brother who comes with his girlfriend and convinces her to pose as Annie's parents because she is looking for her parents. And in this one, the guy, our publicist, gets with Hannington to pay people, strangely enough, who do not sing, which of course seems really, really stupid because the woman playing her mother is Tracy Toms. Yeah, who can sing, like, really well. She's normally on Broadway. And then Dorian Missick, who I've never heard of, who plays the dad. And they believe that they're being paid by Stax to play her parents and then basically dump her later. You get a car chase when Cameron Diaz's character comes clean. She realizes, no, this is wrong. She confesses to Joe. Them and the orphans go and tell Stack's character. They go chasing her. His bodyguard Annie had asked him to find her parents, and he couldn't find anything. So it ends with them rescuing them on a car chase, and Annie being adopted and getting Grace with Stax because she's in love with him, which is how. And so and then him promising to deal with the rest of the girls in Harrington's care, which of course, as compared to the other films, is a lot less. Is this horrible? No. Cameron Diaz can't sing. Everybody knows this. So she was dubbed, which is part of what controversy was. Jamie Foxx can sing. Obviously, the actress playing Anne can sing. They do not have that power. That's one of the things I really noticed, is they do not have the power in the voice. They are not trained on the stage. That's kind of obvious here. Does this deserve the hate? No. Is it a halfway decent update? Yeah. I mean, it's not a horrible film. It's enjoyable. There's singing, there's dancing, there's dogs. It's updated. It fits. There's nothing wrong with this. Cameron Diaz is Cameron Diaz. She's not the best of actresses. She was probably a bad pick for this. And she won a bunch of Razzies for this. Because again, you shouldn't put someone who can't sing in a musical. You just couldn't. You just shouldn't. So it's a little clunky in the updating, but again, it doesn't deserve the hate. It's a good family film. I mean, it really is. There's nothing horrible about this. So that's really the end. There's not much I can say. I'm going to do another video comparing the three, where I'll say a little bit more of my opinions on this. But it's not a bad film, again. So that's it for this individual review. If you like what you see, be sure to check out the rest of the channel. Again, I covered the other three, the other two versions, the 83 and the 99. And then you'll be able to find, I'm doing another video I'm going to compare the three. So I'm going to talk about all three of them and how they work. If you're looking for what else I do, I've covered other musicals this year. I've covered The Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, The King and I, Funny Girl, My Fair Lady. Those were the 5. And then I'm covering Annie here. It just turns out there's multiple versions. I don't think there's multiple versions of the others. I hope not. They didn't remake Mary Poppins, as far as I know. They don't think anybody's crazy enough to try to remake The Sound of Music, because that would be bad. It would be very, very, very bad. You just don't try to remake things with Julie Andrews in them. It's a bad idea. Nobody can do it. They did a second thing of Mary Poppins. I don't know if I may cover Mary Poppins Returns at some point. No, I'm not covering the books. I don't like P.L. Travers. I have issues with P.L. Travers. But I've also covered The Princess Diaries this year, speaking of Julie Andrews. Both the books and the films. I covered some Tamora Pierce, which is a fantasy author. The Guardians of Ga'Hoole, which is an owl-based middle school series. I went back to Meg Cabot, who's the author of The Princess Diaries, to cover Allie Finkel's Rules for Girls, which is another more of a late elementary book series. I'm going back to the Catherine Lasky, who's the author of the Guardians of Gahul, to finish her Wolves series, as well as which is very small, and then her Polar Bears, which are connected to the Guardians of Gahul. So that's what's incoming. I'm also covering Anne of Green Gables next year, the graphic novels to the Animorph series, Boxcar Children, only first 19, and then I'm going to be covering the Wings of Fire series near the end of 2024. I'm going in there blind. That's what's on the agenda book series wise. I also cover Black History Month, Asian History Month, various different themed month along with the book series. This happens to be going along with music. I have a bunch of children's books on music, so I'm covering musicals. So like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.